It is now Tuesday at Two Lines. Welcome, guys. I hope everyone has having a great week. I have to be honest, it's been a little stressful trying to get back here. So welcome. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for hanging out. I apologize for the hour rain delay, but I had a very, very busy night, and yeah. So I had to rush back home. Had about a 50-minute drive to get home. I got set up, plugged in, ready to go with about a minute and a half to spare. So hope you're having a good week. It's Tuesday, and it's time to talk slot cars. I don't know what's going on in the slot car world today. I feel like I've been a little disconnected. Last week was sort of a crazy week in slot cars. But I feel like things have calmed down a little bit this week, and hopefully things are back in order and on track. So haven't even looked to see who all is in the chat. The fingers, you can always count on the fingers to be there. Chris Fretter, my right thumb has become a trigger thumb. It is either straight or very and painfully bends. Chris, you have to sleep with your wrist splinted. Yeah, I imagine a lot of people deal with carpal tunnel. So, the fingers, Chris Patowski. Sorry, Chris. I'm afraid I butchered your last name again. Steve Sweeney will be going green in 15 minutes. Enjoy, Steve. Have fun racing tonight. John Tucci is in. John Albright prepping an after-dinner martini. See you all in 15. Great shaken and not stirred James Bond. I like it. John Tucci. Welcome, John. Steve. I had 2 NSR C8s come in today, 1 angle winder, 1 sidewinder. That's one of the things we'll talk about tonight. Yeah. What else do we have? Black 1997 Cobra. What's up, everybody? What's up? Welcome. Glad to see you back this week. Hey, Eric. Welcome. Good to have you, wild man. Who else do we have? Guys, thanks. Haggison Slots 916. Good evening. Eric Tucker. Good evening. B2. Good evening. Yeah, guys, I really appreciate Dave Patterson. We'll jump right into some slot car talk. In the chat, how many of you received the NSR C8R this week or last week? If you pre-ordered it, you probably got it towards the end of last week. If you jumped in late, it's probably on your porch or maybe on your porch tomorrow or the next day. But I believe let's fire up the web browser here and go to lebhobbies.com. And let's see. New arrivals. Let me go back here. Web. New arrivals. NSR. Oh, here we go. The professional chassis flattener EVO with adjustable temperature. We'll talk about that a little bit tonight too. We got all these McLarens. We've got the P68s. This NSR, I really like this AMG, the Mercedes livery. Our buddy Tom at Cincy Slots raced one of those in the GT class this year. As you can see, I don't know where mine's at. I have not opened mine outside of taking a picture. The GT40 is sold out. Oh, wait. Still got an old. There we go. That was up from last week. The new livery on the anniversary, the 11th anniversary, I really like that red, orange to yellow fade. That looks good on the Mosler. But here we go. If you are wanting, looks like you still have a few options. So the angle winder in the white test is sold out, but the sidewinder is still good. The yellow is sold out, but the sidewinder yellow is back in stock. The red angle winder. So it looks like the angle winders are popular. So anybody want to tell me why they think the angle winders are popular versus the sidewinders? I'm more of a sidewinder guy than I'm an angle winder. But it looks like you can pick up a red sidewinder, and then both in the orange, both the angle winder and sidewinder are sold out. And I'm going to break the news. You heard it here. I bought the last one of the orange sidewinders. I really like orange. I wanted the orange. And I ordered it, bought it on Friday night with some pressure from a couple of guys that are probably in the chat. Yeah, looked at it, bought it, looked at the website, refreshed it, and it said sold out. So I think I bought the last one. And I got the UPS notification that it should be here tomorrow. So coming soon to this channel. No surprise when I do the box opening, but we've got an NSR C8R coming. So we'll get it tuned up and run it through its paces. I need to pick up some super tires. I need to order I need a slot car. I've got a slot car corner order for some parts. I need to place an order with Bruce at Cincy Slots for some super tires and some things. So I don't know. I probably should check Bruce's page to see what he posted, if he's got anything. Cincy Slots. There we go. See what was just added. Oh, he's got one of the Thunder Slot Lolas, the T70s. Those are sweet. I really like this Audi R8, guys. That it's the first slotted GT car that I've been kind of keen on. I think it looks good. All right. Anyway, let's go back to default. Yeah. C8R. So how many of you got yours? Have you got them tuned up? How do you feel? Our friend Greg Kessler, he sent me a message and said that he thinks that we've found the Mosler killer. And there are people talking online today. I did see a little bit of chatter about NSR really spent a lot of time developing this car, and that potentially, it really could be one of their most advanced designs. So what are your thoughts? B2, I thought I was going to be late. Now I have time to fix my milk and animal cookies. B2, I did it for you, buddy. Mad P, hello all. Richard Whitney, cheers. Where everyone knows your name. Greetings all. Welcome. Slot R is just checking in to say hi. It's a late night. So, yep, we'll catch up with you in the morning, man. Thanks. Hey, Garth, everyone's favorite Garth from St. Clair Shores there in Michigan. Welcome. Hey, Raul. Good to have you, man. Eric Tucker. Shotgun Dave is in the house. Nobody's home. Yeah, Dogtown Slots. Guys, man, there's a bunch of people. Thanks. So, I'm going to scroll down. So if I missed somebody, hey, Gary, Dunmore, hey, Vin, hey, Peter, hey, Daryl, the usual people, Marty. All right. Yep. We got the usuals in the house. That's good. Hey, Anthony. I'm going to skip past, hey, John Mark. MP. Dude, you've had quite a week, bro. Congratulations, man. You announced like you had in the last week that you hit 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000. Man, that's crazy. Fun times on your channel, man. Congrats. Couldn't happen to a better person. Couldn't happen to a better person. Hey, Gene. Hey, George. Mark Cunningham. Good to have you guys. Mute. Welcome. Hey, Greg. All right. Hey, Dana G. Michael Squire. Slot Car League of Champions. Man, we got a bunch of people. Hey, Pete. Good to have you. Thanks for joining in. Sorry I'm a little late. Hey, Slot Car Dojo. Oh, so I asked the question, and I'm still so far away. Here we go. DK Moon, I was wondering as well, but noticed everyone was liking the angle winder. Yeah, okay, nobody's home. Orange C8 is badass. I would have to agree. I'm a fan of Orange. Always have been. They just look great on the track, and they're easy to see and spot, right? But the question, Sidewinder versus angle winder, why would you guys normally choose a Sidewinder over an angle winder or vice versa? I tend to like how a Sidewinder handles, but I don't know, with the NSR race coming up this fall, it'll be interesting to see what people are running on that track. Would love to talk to Mike about what the plan is when he has it all figured out. So for that race, my guess is people like the angle winder because it's got some mag effect at the motor that it comes with it. So you like the WeatherTech AMG? Yeah, Dojo, that's a sweet car. Peter, Marty, did you get those video links I sent from NSR? Peter, yes, I did. Yeah, thank you. I've watched those. I think those are what come up with the QR code as well for the chassis flattener. So my brother picked this up and then gave it to me so I could do a review. Really what I want to do is not really as much of a review as to figure out how and post a really good like instruction video. Because I feel like NSR's videos, Peter, they were helpful. Still didn't really, like, I don't know. I feel like they could do better. So if I can figure it out this week, I was hoping to play with it this past weekend. And honestly, the weather was decent and we did get some rain, but I just really ended up working in the yard most of the weekend. So, so DK was wondering the same thing I was wondering. Everybody, it seemed like the angle winders went fast. John Albright says angle winder for the first, sidewinder for the second, pulling the 25K for a 21.5. That's a smart move, John. I think that like even my track, the 25K is probably a little too much motor. We found out like at Cincy Slots on that track, the 25K was just a lot to handle. It's quick, it's fast, a lot of torque. I don't know. So I like the 21.5, the NSR motor, but I think a 21.5 ball bearing motor would probably be pretty good in that too. But following the rules, whatever the rules allow. So it'll be interesting to see. So I have Greg. Yeah, Greg and I were talking. Greg's the one that was like, and John Albright was like, you need to order a C8. And so I went on and I ordered it, and I had it in the box for like in my my cart for like 10 minutes. And when I purchased it, it went through, and then I refreshed it, and it was gone. And Greg said he just bought 2 right before I did. So there were probably 3 available. You bought 2, I bought 1, and the orange was gone. So, although I think the looks good in red. I mean, I think you can always say, how about focus? You can never go wrong. Yeah, Travis, the NSR, the C8, I think is going to be probably NSR's biggest car this year. If it performs well at the races, I really think that it's the one car from NSR that probably gives the Datsun 510 a run for its money as slot car of the year. It's going to be in the running for that for sure. I'm excited about getting my hands on it tomorrow. I've got the same thing that I had going on tonight. I've got going on tomorrow night. I'm leading worship at a leadership conference each night, the last 3 nights, and got one more night. And so I won't get to it until late, like now. But I can't wait to get my hands on it. Really want to see what it looks like. But I don't have everything I need to get it tuned properly. So but we'll get it worked on. We'll get a video out. Should be a great car. I mean, listen, I've got my NSR C7 Corvette, the Jägermeister Corvette, is fast. It still has the 25K motor in it. I'm thinking about putting the 22.5 in, the 21.5 NSR motor, just for this track. But at Steve's track, which, guys, thanks for going out and watching last week's video. It might be one of my best performing videos in the first 7 days that I've ever had. And so that it's all for you guys going out and liking it and sharing it. And I really appreciate it. Yeah, Greg bought 2 of them. I think that's that it's going to be a great choice. Steve says the angle winders are fast. The sidewinders is fast but easier to tune, supposedly. I like my angle winder. Just needs to be tamed. Quick slicks. Yeah, I think that I always use the word twitchy. Angle winders, to me, on the track, especially on plastic track, are a little twitchy. And I think it's just because that long can has got a little more torque than the short can, and that motor being in there at an angle, it just, to me, just feels a little twitchy. But I'm serious, when you get them tuned right, holy cow, they're fast and they handle great. So I mean, I think that's an important piece, is really come down to getting it tuned. Yeah, Greg, the orange looks really, really good. I'm excited about it. Hey, Bill Royal, welcome, man. Hey, Daryl Rogers. What else we've got? Hey, my brother Dusty made it. He was out mowing. Nobody's home. My angle winder C8 runs smooth as ice. Very good. Nobody's home. What color did you end up getting? I don't know how soon they're going to have liveries out. I don't think we'll have to wait too long before some Corvette liveries come out on these. Interesting, they put the solid colors out first. They really want to take care of the club racers with this car, I feel like. That would be the reason why you might put all of those test colors out, so that people at the club have a chance to kind of decorate their own. So, yeah, curious what color you ended up with. Waiting on the ones that with the race liveries. Yeah, Dojo, that was going to be my plan. I didn't really want it to look like a street car, but maybe I need to go find some good decals to put on it and dress it up as a GT car. We'll see. John Albright has a question. How many got their Thunderslot F350s pre-orders in? Not to jump ahead to another topic, but you're right. I think that those, I guess I should check. And when we know that those will be available at a lot of places, um, let's go back to new arrivals. No, pre-orders. Pre-orders from Thunderslot. Okay, LEB. LEB is not showing these sold out, but they did kind of give the warning the other day on their social media channel on Facebook that if you want one of these, you probably should get it ordered. Now, I only ordered one. I don't normally order two of anything, except for I ended up with two of the Datsuns. The number 52B I have not touched yet. Just taking a couple pictures of it, but it's still in the box. And then I pre-ordered the GT40, the NSR GT40, the red number 6, and I haven't touched it yet either. So I've got a couple cars I really need to work on. But I'm really excited about these Thunder slots. So I ordered the 23. I'm a big Michael Jordan fan. I know that has nothing to do with this. But Chris Amon was a little before my time. So I'm not really familiar. I mean, I wasn't born until 1970. So, yeah, late 70, almost 71. And, yeah, this car was a few years ahead of my time, but I really like the Ferrari. It'll be fun to see what the next round of liveries, probably not this year from Thunderslot. I would say it's probably next year. We might see a few more liveries. Who knows? Maybe they'll surprise us. Would be awesome. But yeah, you better get your order in on those. Anything else? So that's a good question, John Albright. Do you have your F350 pre-orders in? Slot Car League of Champions, fun fact. Elvis was a fellow slot head. He built the trophy room edition at Graceland just for slot car track. It was a huge wood-routed track for 124 scale. John Lennon was also a slot head. I had not heard of that about John Lennon, but I definitely had heard that about Elvis. There we go. I knew that Elvis, he was just a race fan, right? He liked cars and auto racing, and so it was really pretty cool. But I did know that. Let's see, what else do we have? DK Moon, I really want one. Almost ordered a couple last night, but trying not to spend the money. That's the problem, DK Moon. I mean, there's just been so many great cars released. I'm thinking about the amount of time I've been in the hobby. I've been in the hobby, let's see, 24, 26, about 28 months, just a little over 2 years. And in that short period of time, the number of cars that I've seen released that I really wanted is pretty impressive. It's a big, long list. So, yeah, at some point you have to. I mean, I don't get free stuff sent to the channel very often. I have been blessed by a few people with some free things, and I'm so thankful that they did that. It was just wonderful. And honestly, it's kind of humbling. But I don't call up Bruce and say, "Hey, Bruce, why don't you send me a handful of cars? I'll review them on my channel." It just doesn't work that way. I mean, I buy the stuff that I review, and I have to control myself some days. When you walk into the hobby shop, when you walk into Cincy Slots to race on a Thursday night, and Bruce got all the new cars that are in, it makes it tough. You usually want to go home with one. So, anyway, yeah, Steve, I agree. I think that with the angle winder, with those long can, those usually have some mag effect. That was what I was chalking the C8R, why I think it sold out. All the angle winders sold out first, was because of that. I ordered a Sidewinder because I actually have a pod, an angle winder pod for that car, And so I figure I will test. I'll run it, get it tuned as a sidewinder, and then I will change it out and make it an angle winder, and try that. So I should be able to do that pretty easy. Yep, I think you're right, John. I really think that they spent a lot of time. All right, my camera's driving me crazy. Here we go. Had to put the tracking on. I think they really spent some time to make sure that this thing was going to compete, right? You launch a new car, you jump on, like one of the most popular cars that Carrera released 2 years ago, and then Scalextric released the same year. I think those cars were super popular. Those C8Rs when they released them, obviously awesome looking liveries, and that's what was on the track right now, which is always, I think a good thing for the slot car companies to release a car that's actually on the track that I could watch, on Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon, and then drive the same car. I know that's hard to do sometimes, but I think that was the advantage that Carrera had when they released the C8R. So I think that NSR is going to be a huge car for them, and I think they really wanted to make sure that it was going to be the Mosler killer. That we see the Mosler get, because it's so quick and handles so good, but doesn't really fit into a GT class. It doesn't fit into a class per se. They usually get banned from some of these races and from tracks because if you can run the Mosler, everybody's going to run the Mosler. And so this gives us an option. But if it's the Mosler killer, then everybody will run a C8, right? So that's the one thing that you do create. But I think they really want to make sure that that car was going to be a fast car. Yeah. Let's see. Watch the radar intensely as Butch is getting some wicked weather. Possible tornadoes in Oxford area. Yeah, let's good thoughts and prayers out to our buddy Butch. He's got a beautiful wood track out there that we love to go to race on. And they've got some crazy tornado warnings out in his area. I'm not usual. I'm very unusual. Me too. Hey, ZSJ Slot Car Raceway. Good evening. Welcome. Hey, Collection. Good to have you. Gosh, I'm way behind. Patrick Harper. Apparently, this is the place to be. Well, I'm glad people seem to think that it's the place to be. I don't know. George, angle winders are for sissies. That's funny. Just kidding. DeFinger's ears just ended at 8 p.m. That's good. Yeah, get that. I saw a pretty nasty line of weather as I was driving back home. So you'd be doing NSR real solid if you did that. Dave ordered the red angle winder. Nice, Dave. Hopefully you get that soon. Mine is supposed to be in tomorrow, so I'm super excited about that. George, real race cars run inline. Hey, Reese. Welcome. Good to have you. Hey, Slot Journal. So what else we got? What do we got going on? I will open this thing up. This chassis flattener. Peter and I have been talking a little bit about it back and forth. Richard Whitney is waiting on the race liveries. Yeah, I think Dusty's waiting on the Golf C8. I mean, they make golf liveries of everything, right? So there are a lot of people who don't like fantasy liveries. I don't mind fantasy liveries. I think that it allows the slot car companies to maximize the mold. We know that those molds for those bodies are expensive, and they've got to get the most out of them. So I think that's I think that's okay. So if they do a couple fantasy liveries that didn't exist on the track, I don't have a problem with that. And we all know if they make it in a golf livery, it'll sell out. I definitely want a C8 more than the 510. I'm probably going to order the dang thing after the stream. Sorry, DK Moon. You've been influenced. The C8 is definitely going to be a race car, for sure. Slot Car League of Champions. You'd like to see more cars without racing liveries. That's fair. I don't think though that it's one of the things you don't see a lot of just regular street cars. I mean, I think Skeletric does a lot. Carrera does a lot of them, but most of the other manufacturers like Slot It and NSR, they'll do white kits, but they don't do just street versions. Usually they're all made for the track, right? And so that's why we see all these race liveries. But you can usually save a few dollars if you buy a car that's a white kit. I know that these Corvettes in the test livery were a few dollars cheaper, so because they didn't have to pay any licensing for any of those, for the livery. Michael Squire, have they shown the livery? I don't think they've shown any liveries outside of the test cars. I've not seen anything, but my guess is we'll see, the latest livery that's on the track, the Le Mans cars on the track, or the IMSA cars. That would be my guess. They need this one. Oh, that's in your pick. Gotcha. Yeah, that would be a good one. It would look good. Revo C4 for me is what I like, and it is an angle winder. I don't have. I'm trying to remember what my dad's Corvette was. Dusty, do you remember? Was it a C5? So going back, Dusty and I had an uncle, a great uncle, who in 1957 maybe bought a Corvette and then bought a new Corvette every 2 years. He would trade it in on a new one all the way through the 70s. And he had, I think, 3 different number 1 serial numbers. He had the very first 1984, and it was the biggest lemon. But that car, he drove it. And then he had, and once he got into the 80s, the prices were starting to go up, and he was going every 4 or 5 years. And then he stopped with the anniversary year in the 90s. So whatever year that was, 95 or something like that. And that was the last one he bought, and it was purple, which I thought was funny. Dark purple. But so I've always been a fan of the Corvettes. Was looking at a 61 today in the garage. Our buddy John Marks, a friend of his, is working on one in one of his bays, where we plan to set up the track for a few weeks. So what else do we have? I feel like I'm way behind. But a Golf C8 in a fantasy livery, rivet counters need not apply. Yeah, I agree, John. Yeah, don't get all upset. Don't get all upset. Number 3 Revo slot Corvette is an absolute beauty. Yeah, nobody's home. I think they did a really nice job with those. Those are nice, and that number 3 will sell out pretty good. Nobody's home with the orange. I like it. So a lot of us are fans of the orange. Don't be messing around. That's right. DNA, we have both on pre-order. Nice. Sasha will be running laps before we know it. When do the C12s come out, and will there be a Jägermeister? You can always count on that, right? Those orange cars tend to do really well, so I'm not surprised. More like a Schlitz malt liquor livery. That's good. Thanks, George. Hi, Daniel Thomas. Welcome, man. Yeah, John Albright. Michael Squire, the C4 is nice enough, but I doubt it will happen. You never know, though. I really want the Mr. Bean Mini and Ron Weasley Anglia. And the sarcasm is free, folks. It is free tonight. That's a good one, Shotgun. About a wide track Bigfoot Weasley Anglia. You guys, I hope those Anglias don't sell out. Well, an Anglia was a pretty popular car on the drag strip, right? If I remember as a kid, I feel like, yes, Steve, I have a soft spot for the Thunder Slots. Not gonna lie. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, the thing is I only have 3. So I have an Elva, I have the M6A, and I have a Mustang. So now I'll have a Ferrari. I'll probably end up eventually picking up a few more. Some of the new ones that they just released, I do like. It was just, you had to pick and choose. I couldn't get them all. Bill, I've been in the hobby for 28 months. Bill Royal. I've been in for 28 months. He counted in months. Rumor has it. George, you definitely had a big push in that. Yeah, Steve, I saw that video. That was fun. I loved watching Batman as a kid. The reruns, anyway. Slapshot got you into slot cars. That's funny, Michael. Yep, I remember that scene in Slapshot. Eric Tucker, I blew my summer slot car money on a 916 Ducati. Good choice, Eric. Yeah, you did blow all of your slot car money. Oh, that's just rubbing it in his nose. I got the black and gray Elva and love that one. Yeah, that's a good one. Dojo, that one's getting harder and harder to find. So, DK Moon, I usually have about 10 cars in the cart, but I try to cut it down to 5 or 6, which is still too much. I know. They add up quick. I have to bump up the new car fund as more nice cars are coming into the shops. Yeah, I do like to see them in person if I can before I order them, but so if Bruce gets them at Cincy Slots, we like to take care of Bruce. So if he gets them in, it's usually our go-to. But sometimes he doesn't get everything in. I'm skipping some comments, looking for questions. So I don't really see any. Hey, Slot Car Hub, good to have you. Thanks for joining. What else? John Albright. Call me a 6'5", 280 pounds. I love it. So let's take a look at this. Steve has a question. Has anyone heard of Milan Slot Car Company, perhaps associated with Area 71? I have not, Steve. I've not heard of them. DNA, the chassis flattener, is the equivalent of a company releasing a slot car with only 3 wheels, then offering a 4th wheel as an additional option. Yeah, I mean, I think it's so easy for these to warp. So, I mean, I think they have all good intentions, but so let's see what's in the box. Let's see here. Did I miss a comment? Oh, those guys are talking bourbon. Hey, Steve Holzman. Welcome, Steve. Let me throw this out of the way up here. So you get your power supply in the box. And it comes with the Europe to the States converter, so that you can plug it in. And then here it is. Digital readout, metal plate, 3D printed box. And then you can set the temperature. So that's pretty much it. I have a chassis here. So my understanding, I've never flattened a chassis. But this is an NSR Mercedes-AMG TT3 chassis that I won in the raffle at Steve's track. And this chassis seems pretty flat. But you would put it on, and then it comes with a bunch of magnets. So then you would take these magnets and put them, well, you know how hard that is to do with one hand. And then you would put these magnets around on the chassis. And so the question is, what temperature is the best temperature to run this thing at? And there's a card that comes with it that has the NSR QR code. Focus, focus, focus. It's not going to focus. Okay. So, and it takes you to the instructions, which don't say a whole lot. And then the default values are on the back of this card. So in position 0, it equals H. P1 equals 0.1. P2 equals 80 degrees. P3, 55 degrees. P4, 0.0. P5 equals 0. P6, 7, P8 is off. And these numbers make 0 sense to me. So we'll have to figure that out. And I think that they explain that in one of the videos that I watched that Peter sent me. So I think we would just turn this on and let it cycle through, and then turn it off, and then leave it on so it completely cools, so like overnight. And then you should be good to go. And we all know that flattening the chassis is important. Having a flat chassis is important because if it's not flat, it's hard to set up the front end. Then it's not even, and that causes problems. It causes traction problems if the chassis rocks between the front end. And you can compensate, but I think the easiest thing is to flatten the chassis. So pretty simple. I guess maybe I should just turn this thing on and let it roll. But anyway, if anybody has any experience with it, I know, Steven, you do. I know, Peter, you've used the same one. It'd be interesting to see. I know, Daryl, you have a flat chassis flattener, and but it's not the digital readout where it's got adjustable. So I don't know if you guys have any any tips or tricks, let me know. I'm open for any kind of Marty. Dusty will just put blue stripes on your orange NSR and a couple of golf decals. There you go. With the orange, it's easy to turn it into a golf car. Steve, the C8, I need to build one. Angle winder, sidewinder, what do you think? Steve, we were talking about that earlier. The angle winders are going fast, along with the sidewinders. We were looking at LEB's website, and there's a few options left, but not many. I think there was mostly sidewinders. I don't think there were any angle winders left. So you might have to order a sidewinder and then throw an angle winder pod in, which I'm sure that you have. But my dad had a C6Z06. Thanks, John Mark. That's what I thought. I couldn't remember. It was a 5 or 6, but I knew it was a Z06. Bombalia, checking in from Barbados. Welcome. Thanks for jumping on. Slot Carly, when I drive slots, I fantasize about driving my own Mercedes, not someone else's. There you go. Thinking I saw the coming livery somewhere. Actually, they are on the LEB website. Are they in the pre-orders? Let's see. They got the McLaren. Ooh, I like that new McLaren. Let's go back to that. I really like that orange livery on the McLaren. That's a good looking car. Oh, there you go. You're right. There is the first one. It's the Daytona winner, 2021 Daytona winner. Pre-order. Oh yeah, that's a good looking car. That's a great livery. That will be a very popular car. The thing is they've not done too many different liveries with the C8R. So there you go. So there's your liveries. Number 64 and number 3, and it's angle winder, sidewinder, angle winder, sidewinder. So AW versus SW. Right? Well done. Let's see where we go back. Default. So thanks, Dave. Appreciate that. Good evening, Mark. You can pre-order the 24 Daytona and the Le Mans C8. Yeah. So don't know when those are releasing. Maybe later in the summer. Maybe this fall. Probably before yeah, we want to go race at your track. Barbados sounds really good right now. Focus. There we go. Fun fact, Gene Hustine, team associate fame, introduced the angle winder craze in slot cars. That's interesting. So angle winder came out of RC. I did not know that. Thanks, John. Showed up at the track and blew all the pros off the track and instantly had everyone scrambling to build angle winder chassis. That's interesting. That's cool. I purchased a rolling road from Slot Spoils, and I got it last week. Quality built tool. I purchased it to run in motors and gears, but I think it's going to really help me with tire tuning. Richard, that's I looked at those. Yeah, it's a cool tool. My brother 3D printed. It's not a rolling road, but he 3D printed something that I've been using to run in my cars, and it works really, really well. But it doesn't have the rolling road. I would like to see BRM do the 124 Le Mans C5 like the Revo. Not that Anglia. In drag racing? Okay. Yeah, Scott, there's tons of new stuff out there. Watch your credit card. Be careful. Anyone in the North Texas area? Mute. I don't know where Dahi is in exactly. Is he in the? Are you in Austin, DNA? I don't know what the slot car scene is like in Texas. Yeah, Slot Journal. I saw your video. That was good. Yeah, Michael, I think that a lot of things happen in shipping. You know, they get put in these crates and they get shipped over across in a boat, and heat and cold and all kinds of weather changes. And, look at, if they tighten the screw too tight, then it pulls the car too tight into the packaging. You can cause it that way. I think there's just so much that can happen because they're really so thin. I mean, which is one of the things that, like why Carrera and Scalextric build their chassis the way they do. Because that's not something you have to deal with for the most part with those cars. So a little more substantial chassis, but, you don't get to tune most of those. You're pretty limited. So that's the big. What else do we have going on? Not much slot car going on up in Amarillo. Bought his hot. The magnets melted through the chassis. He got his so hot that. Okay, thanks, Daryl. So you really need to pay attention to the temperature. So you just can't just turn it on full blast and go. Doesn't hot water poured over a chassis stuck to a metal plate work about the same? I would say, Michael, that it probably does. I mean, that's how guys have been doing it for years and years. Putting it in the oven, boiling water. I've not done it that way, but Richard, they warp because they cool too quickly when they come out of the mold. They need to cool slower to avoid bowing. I could see that. Yeah. Yeah, Dahi. It's Dusty's. It'll go back with him, but I've got a couple chassis I'm gonna throw on and straighten them, and probably do a video, just a quick video, just to show people how to do it. Road America Northwest, Milan Tomasek Racing makes custom slot cars and decals. Look up the MTR 32 slot cars. They are Lexan bodies. He mostly sells decals. All right. Thanks for answering that question. I appreciate that. Steve likes that method, Michael. Steve, I have to try it. I have a warped slot at 190E. How hot do you have to get the water boiling? John Albright says flat bar magnets, round magnets, a steel plate, and a Milwaukee heat gun. Shh, don't tell anyone. There you go. Yeah, Michael, I had thought about using a heat gun as well. I think that would work really well. That blue top Repsol C8 is next for me. Yeah, that will look really, really good. Okay, DK. Okay, I just ordered 2 of the C8s, red and yellow, and an F1 jumped in the cart too. That's awesome. When are the Golf 917s releasing that are on this page, Dusty? The NSRs? It doesn't say. Just says pre-order 2024. I'm guessing those are going to be later towards the fall. That's just my guess. They've got a cool 908. I didn't see that one released. The Martini Targa Flora 71, number 8, 9083. That's a cool livery. So yeah, that was. But it doesn't say when they're going to release Dusty. I use your acetylene torch. Be careful. Hey, John Albright, the new pics of the F40 Revos look great. You in for a few? Hey, Dahi, they're Revos. You know that John is probably in for those. I like to see a C8 in the gold Sebring livery celebrating 50 years of Mobil 1. That would be good. Yeah, thanks, Road America Northwest. Appreciate that. B2, question. Any idea where I can buy braid kits for the monogram cars? B2, that's Slot Car Corner. There you go. I was going to say that's the first place I would look. DNA 4 here, and the Marlboro car will be number 5, breaking my quote of 4 for that one. Yeah, John usually he's usually stops at 4 of one car. Scott, credit card instantly maxed. Wife is PO'd. That's funny. There are a couple more C8 livery options toward the bottom of the page. Yeah, the Repsol. John Mark, you're right. I did not go down far enough. Let's see. Let's go to the web. You've got the Repsol. Wow, they are releasing a bunch of cars. Well, they got to keep up with Scale Auto. That's a great looking car. Yeah. Dang it. We're all going to be broke. We were all going to be broke. And then there's the blue. Dang. How do you decide? Oh, that one's already sold out. That's weird. The Sidewinder is sold out for that car. That Mosler will be popular. Any more? And then the McLarens. Yeah. The McLaren's sharp too. Yeah, that's a good looking car. Yellow, it will do well. I liked that orange McLaren that was at the top. That's a good looking car too. Yeah, I like that one. Gosh. Well, guys, so I just spent all of our money. Oh, man. Too funny. Thanks, John Mark, for pointing those out. Now, we've got 4 more cars on pre-order. Steve, I have the Scale Auto hypercar. I've got the Porsche, great car. DK Moon, I want the Golf 917 too. Yeah, NSRs, they're kind of killing it. Slot Journal, Skillectric needs a Pontiac Aztec from Breaking Bad, or maybe the RV. Oh my gosh. So last week here in Chillicothe, I saw a Pontiac Aztec on the road, and it looked like it was in mint condition, like it had been recovered from the ice. and thawed out. I'll let you drive it. That's good. Would be tempted by a couple of those new C8s. Yeah, Dahi, those are pretty nice. Get them all. No, nope. I've got more control than that. Just for the record, 4 cars, 4-lane wood track. There's a madness to my method. No, John, I you didn't have to. It's my method too. But somehow I've got 10 of those damn fly cars. Okay, made it home in time for the tornado sirens to go off. Good. Good to hear, Chris. Yeah, hopefully everybody's safe tonight. Dogtown slots. This sucks. Too much money into building track and no money for cars. Yeah, it does get expensive building track. I've been pricing some pieces after we talked last week about the layout changing, but I think we're going to run this layout the way it is for a little while. I think a few of you talked me into not making changes just yet, so that'll be good. So then I'll focus on building the table. What I was thinking though is when this track moves, goes out to the club, if that's what I'm going to call it. I'm thinking about calling it Slot Club, sort of like Fight Club. No, we don't talk about it. But if I move that, then this space could go under construction. And maybe it's a polycar track. Maybe it's a wood routed track. I don't know. Can't decide. But if the track's going to be gone for a few weeks, maybe we'll work on something here. Who knows? Well, glad I only have a 2-lane track. I can buy pairs instead of 4. It's a good idea. Chris, I have no slot car control. That's great. He drove a Buick. He drove Buicks. Johnny Pro, I don't know what you're referring to, but that's already funny, and I don't even know the joke. I have a number 64 Corvette on pre-order. Very good. Yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah, I was seeing a little bit of that as I was rushing home so I could do the live stream. Chris, per NSR or per NWS radar, looks like the worst stuff is going north and south of C-Bus. Yeah. Yeah, it's just a little north of us right now. Let's see. Michael Squire, build that Corvair. There you go. Slot Car League of Champions, you have AFX HO track. DeFingers call it groovy times. We're in a we're lucky to be in the hobby right now. I mean, when I go back and look at old cars and the selection that people had, it's probably why I see a lot of scratch-built stuff. Because if you wanted a particular car, you had to build it because most of the time manufacturers weren't going to make it. And as I'm not a historian of slot cars, but we've talked a lot about it in the live stream, that detail wasn't something that slot car companies worried too much about until Fly came around and started producing these amazing bodies, right? And so now it's really made everybody up their game, and I think it's kind of a numbers game for some of these slot car companies. Is, this C8R from NSR, they've spent a ton of time and a lot of money to build this car and make it a fast car and design it and engineer it so that it is what they need it to be as a car. Because if this thing was a dud, if they put all this work into it and they shipped it out to everybody, and Greg sends me a text on Friday and says, dude, this thing is not even close to being a Mosler killer, then they would still all be for sale. But because Greg sent me a message and said, you need to order one of these because it's a Mosler killer, like out of the box, it's already running super fast laps, and we really haven't even tuned the thing yet, I went straight out and bought one. Right? And so I think that for NSR, that's why there's so many liveries. I didn't realize that they were releasing so many liveries this year. They all say that they're going to release in 2024. And, we don't have the shipping issues we were having a couple years ago, getting cars over here. And so I believe that all of these cars will be available before, by the time Christmas rolls around. 95% of them will be available by the time Christmas rolls around. And that's important for them because they're all going to sell really, really well. And, that's like 8, 10 different liveries. 8, I don't know, maybe six liveries. The angle winder, sidewinder thing was throwing me. Like 6 different liveries of that Corvette, plus the test liveries. I mean, that's a lot of choice for people. And so NSR is expecting this car to be the car on the track for their nationals races and their worlds races. In the GT class, it's obvious that they're expecting this car to be the car. Period. James, I want a fly truck. They are cool looking. James, I don't know if the fly truck would fit under my bridge. We'd have to raise the bridge a little bit. But they do look pretty cool. I'll give you that. Hello from Cornholio Speedway. The great Cornholio. Yeah, my brother and I watched way too much Beavis and Butthead when we were kids. Chris, C8 Repsol order, LEB, ships in November. Yeah, that's right. Now the nice thing is they won't charge you until it ships in November. So you're not out any money at the moment. Yeah, John, Engelwinder, Rico Yanko, someone with some pull, call Revo. That's not me. I don't know that anybody. Dahi has some connections that could get in touch with Revo through Alan. John has got the same connection, I think. So, but yeah, we don't have any connections with Revo. What else do we have? Right now, I own 6 brands of track: AFX, Auto World, Sean Tycho, Carrera, and Arton. Wow. That's a lot of selections. Yeah, to hide from tornadoes. DK Moon sounds like Santa will be broke this year. Yep. 2 words, Marty, chop top. Greg, I got the red NSR C8 and it does keep up with my Mosler. Greg, that's good to hear. I mean, I've not talked to anybody outside of Greg and John Albright about their C8s. So it's good to know. There's somebody who was online was complaining about the C8. And I was kind of surprised by that because I was expecting it to be kind of a showstopper. So it's good that not everybody's experiencing that everybody seems to think that it's right out of the box is really a really good car on the track. So that's good. That's good to hear. Thanks, Greg, for sharing that. Slot Journal, when I got into the hobby, the most expensive cars were about $50. That still is a psychological barrier for me. I get real picky on $80 plus cars. Yeah, Slot Journal, I agree. Inflation and cost, the pandemic was painful in a lot of different ways. Mostly in the wallet, I think. That's the name of your raceway. Nice. That's cool, James. Good night, DNA. Thanks, man. Thanks for tuning in. TP for your gear hole. Somebody had to go there, George. Somebody had to go there. Dusty, you have to tune new cars. I mean, from the sounds of it, the C8 is pretty good right out of the box, but which tells you that you throw just your baseline tuning at it, and you're going to have a quick, competitive car. So that's what I'm excited about. So we'll get it checked out. We'll get it checked out tomorrow. At least we'll take a look at it. I don't know when I'll get a chance to get it on the track and get some laps on it. But yeah, 124 scale gets expensive. I mean, the BRM cars are, start at like $115 and go up. 124 cars are, yeah. I mean, I think Carrera is still the best deal when it comes to 124 cars. They're $80, $75, $74.99, something like that. There you go. $169 for BRM 124. Whew. That's a couple of 132nd scale cars. That's hard to swallow. And see, the problem with there's like, we like to race, and there's no BRM classes around here. Lots of Revo slot classes, but nobody's running 124 scale BRM in a class. And I think it's just the cost to entry. I think that's the reason why. If we had a big track, maybe that'd be different. But yeah. Gosh, what else do we have to talk about? We talked about the flattener, which is cool. Thanks, Dusty. Shout out to Dusty. So we've got that in our arsenal now to help us make sure our cars are running pretty good. Yeah, we talked about the C8. What else is there to talk about tonight? Making some progress on some dates. So announcing a couple of dates soon. So what I'm thinking for the race that we'll host, looking at the third week end in June. I've got 5 weddings this summer. The summer is getting crazy. Every time I turn around, we're adding something else to the calendar. My wife and I have our 30th wedding anniversary. Dotson from Slotted. Oh yeah, George, that's good. I'll leave that up so we can talk about that. What else? I mean, it's super busy. So we're kind of targeting that weekend. We'll kind of make it official. May is out just mainly because we haven't moved the track yet and got some cleanup to do out there, and we got just so many things on the schedule. So we'll make that announcement probably in the next, week to 10 days. So we'll put that on the calendar. But I think what I'd like to do is do a weekly race just for the local guys, just so that we can have some fun and see if opening up a slot car club in my hometown here would be viable. If there'd be enough interest to revive the hobby here. I mean, this was a big slot car town at one point in time. There were 3 different slot car tracks downtown over the years that overlapped in some way. 2 different 8-lane Stromberg, is that the right company? And then I would love to know where those tracks are. That would be fun. And then an orange, American orange track in town, 8 lanes. So there've been a lot of slot car racing here from the 60s, 70s, 80s up into the 90s, and then the last hobby shop closed, and then RC kind of took over. So I'm curious if I ran something on my personal Facebook page and said, "Hey, open slot car night," and we provided some slot cars for people to jump in and try, if we'd have a handful of people show up. So that's kind of what's next. George threw out the Datsun from Slotted. They made the announcement that it's getting closer. I love the livery. I'm a little concerned that I'm not loving. I haven't seen enough pictures. You won't know until you buy it and take it apart. But I'm not loving what looks to be the chassis design. Just from what I can tell, it looks like it's going to be a car that's a little top heavy. So probably going to have to put some weight in it. And but again, that's just me prejudging. Probably not fair. But I do like the livery. They picked a really good livery to be the first car that they ship out. That will be a car that will be very popular. Is it for pre-order? I should probably check. Slot at pre-orders. I don't know that they've opened. Oh, they have opened that up. So let's go back to this web. They have opened the 510 up for pre-order. So if that's a car, a Bob Sharp car, that's something you're interested in. See, from that angle, you can't really tell, but it looks like that, to me, it looks like that chassis rolls all the way up to that body line right there. And so it's not a flat chassis, it's more of a, more like a Carrera type of chassis. We'll see how adjustable it is once we get it apart. Once we find, can order it. But yeah, that's a good looking car. It's just going to have to compete with the Revos, and I don't know that. I mean, I'm guessing that it should. Or what do you guys think? Do you expect this to be able to compete with the Revo slots? That class of car. I mean, we don't normally race out of. We race Revo slots against Revo slots at our club. Dogtowns asks, can you put a digital chip in an SR car? Yes, you can. I would recommend the Slot Technic chip because they're small, they're tiny, and it's a little easier to install. Trying to retrofit a Carrera chip, those chips are cheaper, but they're really made for a Carrera car, a Carrera chassis, and so with NSR, I would look at the Slot Technic or the MPL. John Albright, opening any car and expecting it to be a top performer straight out of the box without spending time with it and complaining about it is a fool's game. Yeah, John. That's what we've learned. And that's why we've learned to tune cars, because we've had cars that we pulled out of the box and didn't perform great. And we had to take a look at them and say, why? Why is this not performing great? And that caused us to learn to, what it takes to invest in a car to make it run to the best of its ability. Yeah, I don't expect Slotted or NSR or Thunder Slot or any of those companies to Revo Slot to ship a car to me that I don't have to do anything to. Now if I were going to keep the magnets in it, and there would be an expectation of, with the magnet, that it performs pretty well. But outside of that, yeah, I think it's always good to tune your cars. We've seen, like, there are sometimes in shipping things happen and there's problems. So going through the car is is just your best bet. What else do we have? Gotta go. Tornado is coming. Chris, hang in there, buddy. Pretty sure the 510 is an inline car, like the DTMs. Not that it matters much. Well, I mean, the Group C cars are all inline cars. You can change the pod out and make them sidewinders. You can do some things to change that, but I love my Group C cars, and they're inline. So, I mean, there's a chance that it can perform really well even as an inline. Hey, thanks, Fred Moon. Appreciate it, man. Good night, guys. For those of you who are signing off, I appreciate you tuning in tonight. Sorry about the late start. MB Auto Detail. Did I miss the recap of that awesome track in Kentucky? I talked a little bit about it last week, MB, and then I released a video on Saturday that is full detail. So go out to my channel. My latest video is all about that track in Kentucky, and he's in the chat. So it was a great place. It was a great place. Like a tub chassis. Yes, Steve. That's what I'm thinking too. Improved battery tech over the last 20 years allowed the slot cars to leave the slot. DK Moon, that was a game changer. Yeah. But it's making a strong comeback, and I like where it's headed. The DTMs are inline only. Hey, Stephen Moore, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's 10:22. It's time to start wrapping up. We'll wrap up the live stream for tonight. But yeah, good stuff. It's a little over 20,000. I'm not sure what that was in reference to, Dust. Scrolling back to see what it is. Anyway, guys, this has been great. Look at that. Marty is all caught up on the chat. Yeah. If I'm caught up with the chat, it's time to close up shop and go. Guys, this has been great. It's been fun to chat. It's been good to catch up. Again, I appreciate you all stopping in and supporting me. Give the video, the chat, give it a thumbs up. It really does help. As you can tell, MP, his channel blew up this week. If nobody's paid attention to that, his Disney stuff, he's picked up almost 2,000 followers in the last 18 days. It's nuts. So that thumbs up really goes a long way. So I appreciate it. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks for supporting me. And we'll go have some fun racing.